Good afternoon, Trevor. Thanks so much for taking the time out and getting involved in Business Owner Spotlight this week. So look, go ahead, introduce yourself, tell everybody a little bit about what you do.
How you doing? Scott, good to see you. So I'm Trevor, Trevor Jamison. I am one of the owners. My wife is the other owner of Learning Unlocked. We're basically an educational consultancy company.
Cool.
So I suppose what we do is we do tuition coaching for teachers and assessment. All ages, all stages, all subjects. So we've a team of tutors that work with us. And they basically, they provide the tuition. My wife coaches. So would that be interview, or that might be interview coaching? It might be. We have a lot of teachers come to us who, don't want to be teachers anymore and aren't really sure where else to go, how to get out. So yeah, that's kind of where we are and what we do in a nutshell.
So would you just so I understand? So would you so you're like a support company for teachers then, in whatever support they need, whether it's to exit the career or further their career?
Part the core business, business is the tuition.
That would be like students.
Yes, so that's students. That's one-to-one and or in groups. So we can tutor, right from the wee ones. So we study buddies, we call them.
Okay. Yeah.
Right up AQE, transfer test. That's obviously all changing now. GCSE, A level, and we've had students that are on access courses. Coming just they're getting back into the way of studying. They need a bit of help. We've had final year students just needing a bit of specialism just to help push them on that mark.
When you say final year, would that be like final year university?
Yep, final year university.
I'm just thinking of all the times I could have used your service throughout my academia.
That's it. And you know what, it is just it's support. Some people have this opinion of tuition, oh well, if you haven't got it, you shouldn't be getting it. It's like, no, footballers have coaches. You go to the gym, you have a coach. And that's what we are. We're pulling things out, we're identifying gaps in learning, we're helping to fill those gaps, and teachers there help them. I was a teacher for 20 years. It's a hard job. And trying to get time with individual students is so tough. And that's what we do. We basically step into the gap and just
then
help.
For the teachers then, so that would be I understand, I think, quite well for the students. What all things would you offer then for the teachers?
Well, for teachers, we would offer we can offer CPD, so continued professional development. We do interview skills. So if someone's going for a head of department's job, or wanting to move to a different school, or go for vice principal, or get out of whatever school they're in, or maybe they just don't have a job in teaching. There's so many teachers that are on temporary contracts. They've been to lots of interviews and they, just cannot seem to nail that job. They're second reserve every time. So it's just about trying to show them, how to sell themselves, how to actually look at the experience they have, the type of questions they're going to be asked, and how to get the best benefit from those questions in front of the panel.
Yeah, so that's good because you really found your niche there, where you just concentrate around teachers and education. So you're sort of experts in that area then.
Yeah, well, that's it. We both myself and my wife, Janine, who's in next door looking after the child. We're, as I say, we're 20 years in teaching each, and we love learning. We just love learning. So we went off to do our postgraduate certificates in leadership. We did our diplomas in leadership. We headed towards a master's, and but just the life got in the way. Kind of COVID came down, and but we love learning. We love learning new things, and we have a lot of experience and a lot of knowledge there, and it's nice to be able to pass that on.
Transparent.
Yeah, absolutely.
So how long have you guys been business owners then?
Okay, so in around 2019, I wasn't particularly well, and really just needed a change. I was always, I was always, what's the word now?
You had an idea, you wanted to do something for yourself, sort of thing.
Unsettled, maybe unsettled.
Okay, yeah,
You know, itchy feet. Always
yeah,
wanted to be doing something else.
sure.
I'm an idea person. I like ideas. I like moving, doing an idea, moving the next thing, getting an idea, moving the next thing. And teaching, it got to the point where I just felt every year was the same thing. The curriculum changes ever so slightly. You're teaching the same thing. Yes, you learn new ways to teach that. You get better at your job, but essentially it's the same. Different kids, same content. Um, so when I was ill there, it gave me a bit of time to kind of sit down and reflect and stop, which I suppose was a blessing in a way, that was that we had that, and that's when we thought, you know what, this could be a goer. There's a need for it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that 2019, and then we really got up and running in the March 2020.
Okay.
So,
Perfect timing.
well, yeah, and that was the thing. We kind of, people say, "Oh, did you start because of COVID?" I was like, "No."
Mm.
We'd had this idea kind of in the December, November, December time, and we'd been developing it. So yeah, it was an interesting time. COVID was, nobody was lending any money, if you remember. They were
Yeah.
only doing the COVID, was it bounce
Bounce
back
back.
loan?
Yeah, yeah,
So nobody was taking on anyone new. We had no startup money except kind of what we had in our pocket.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, it was an interesting time. We started with one client, as I suppose anybody does. You
Yeah,
start with one
yeah.
client.
The most important one, really, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. And I still have the first tenner we made. It's still up in the wee box.
Very good.
And it's nice that So that month we had 4 hours tuition. So interesting. But we went from that. We're now, we're regularly, during our peak time, we're regularly around 300 hours a month. So that's, we're growing, and it's good. But yeah, that's, so we've been doing that, and we've just been looking at different bits and pieces as we move through it.
That's cool. And so obviously you've come out of kind of employment, as it were, and then started a business in a very tricky time. And so obviously, like, you didn't have to change anything due to COVID, because it was probably more strange for you when the world opened up again in terms of business. But what would you say has been the biggest learning you've had since you've been a business owner?
Cash flow.
Right, yeah, good one, yeah.
Cash flow, we, as I say, 20 years, 20 years working for Department of Education, you get your wage check on the date every month, except for Christmas, where you get paid early and you have to kind of put it away in case you spend it. But yeah, cash flow has been, we just had to be very careful. So we have, and I think that the whole accounts, VAT, taxes, all that side of things has been, I think, the biggest learning curve for us, in terms of talking to parents, and doing consultations with parents, and finding out about their kids. That all comes natural. Yeah, it's actually the business side of things. What do we actually need? Do we actually need business insurance? Yes. Do we actually need, GDPR? Yes.
And then you don't know what you don't know as well.
Exactly. That's it. And so for us, it was, you're constantly watching the cash coming in and going out, and thinking, right, okay, this doesn't work the way we're used to.
Yeah.
But such a big learning curve in terms of the actual how to run a business,
And so that's in terms of of your sort of learning as to how to run the business. But what would you say, and COVID aside, if you can, but what would you say has been the biggest challenge you've had to overcome? Like, was it finding clients or finding tutors or?
Yeah, definitely the biggest challenge is tutors, finding good tutors.
Okay.
We have tutors, that are, ex-head of departments or retired teachers. We've new teachers, we have PhD students, we have teacher students. And sometimes people say, oh, is it this tutor isn't a teacher? And to be fair, most of our tutors are teachers.
Yeah.
But I know, and every teacher you ever speak to will know teachers who are not good teachers.
Mm.
Now, most teachers are good teachers.
Yeah.
Not all tutors are good tutors either.
Yeah. And do you think is that what sets you guys apart? Is that what's made you so successful? Is the quality of your product or your tutors essentially?
Yeah, I would say so. We only when I'm speaking to parents, during consultations, I always say we don't take on anybody that I wouldn't put in front of my own three.
Yeah.
And I suppose that's a bit cliched, but we interview our tutors, we check their qualifications, we get references for them, we do the XSNI on them, and we keep a close eye on the lessons as they're happening. We get a report in from the tutor on how the lessons went. We check in with the parents. We're always there in the background for support. So yeah, getting good tutors is definitely the hardest thing. But the tutor, I have to say that obviously all the tutors we have are very, very good. I think the hardest thing actually is when we have had some really good tutors who have moved on. They've maybe finished whatever they're doing and they've had a change in circumstances, and they've moved on, and we've split very, very amicably. And we treat our tutors like second clients, because they are. Without our tutors, our business doesn't work. So it's very sad when you lose a really good tutor. But obviously we wish them all the best.
Of course,
So it's
been. So I was going to say, so you talked a bit about, you guys are coaches for your students and so on and so forth. So who would you say has been the best coach you've ever had, and why?
I don't know. I don't think I've ever really had one. I had two really good teachers, and they kind of got me through, my GCSEs. Other than that, I think everybody, whether they want to admit it or not, wants someone to come alongside them and help them, kind of guide them along, almost not tell them what to do, but everybody wants somebody to use as a sounding board. And I think personally I haven't really had that in the early part of my life. Janine is really good. I suppose she would be she obviously is my best coach. But yeah, just finding someone who really is willing to listen and understand you is key. I have a friend who recommends good books to me, and that really helps. But in terms of an actual coach, I think that's something that everyone needs. That a lot of men maybe don't, and maybe aren't willing to accept that they need. Perhaps.
Yes, fair point. Yeah, as you say, inadvertently you kind of get them in all parts of your life, and more so now. Like when you go to the gym, or and it's just about getting the best out of you, really, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. That's it. I read a quote. We've been rebranding recently. So we have, so I was putting stuff on the website, and the quote was something along the lines of, a coach will draw out of you what's already there. And bring the best out in you. And that's what a coach should do. It's what a tutor should do as well.
Well, what's been what you know? So we've talked about what you've learned as a business owner, right? So what have you learned about yourself on your journey?
What have I learned? Well, I did ask Janine what have I learned about myself. You know,
She is your best coach.
oh, absolutely. You know, definitely, it's got to be authenticity and being honest. You
Okay.
know,
Yeah.
it builds trust. It just builds trust. So it does.
Kind of all you have in business, really, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. You know, we go by, I suppose, we go by the phrase right's right, even if no one's doing it. Wrong's wrong, even if everyone's doing it.
Yeah,
You know,
that's
and
good. Yeah, like that.
yeah, you have to stay true to your values, and you know, sometimes parents will phone up and say, look, Jimmy or whoever needs a tutor. And you get chatting to them, and you'll say, to be honest, I don't actually think they do.
Mm.
Now, obviously, if you want to avail of our services, fantastic. But I don't think they do at the moment. Maybe
Yeah,
leave it for a
which
while,
is difficult
So
to do, probably.
yeah, it is difficult to do because you're thinking, okay, that's maybe another 4 hours
Yeah,
a month, or
yeah,
maybe they want 8 hours a month.
yeah,
And that's money that could be in the bank and it's not.
yeah.
But I think definitely look at every opportunity, but don't neglect your core business.
Yeah. No,
You
I think
know,
that's good advice. And just to finish up, then, what does the future look like? Where do you want to take the business next?
I suppose our vision really is we want to be the go-to tuition company in Northern Ireland, UK.
Yeah,
We've had lots of opportunities come our way. We're working with the Foster Network. We've worked with the uh, Health and Social Care Trust. We've taken on an academy over in England.
okay.
Have contacted us asking us to do things, and I think it's just not getting away from your own vision. We've taken on a member of staff, and they're now running the day-to-day running of the business.
Okay.
Kind of frees me up
Yeah,
because I don't really like to sit still.
yeah,
So it frees me up to have ideas. It frees me up to go wacky some days and
yeah,
just see what's out there. Let's have fun. Let's come up with ideas and see what sticks. So yeah, I think going forward, we're getting our name out there. We have a really good reputation, and it's just building on that. And as I say, focusing on the core business, but also keeping an eye on the future and see what's coming down the line.
yeah.
And yeah, so it's kind of yeah.
See what opportunities are out there. So exciting times. And listen, I really appreciate you taking the time to get involved today. It sounds like a fantastic business, not something I'd ever come across before. So I appreciate you sharing your journey and what you've
Yeah,
learned. And thanks for getting involved, Trevor.
not a problem at all. Scott, lovely to have a conversation with you.